Thanks so much for having me again, Partha.
Hey, anytime, man.
And I mean, this is like, I don't know, the 6th, 7th time that I'm coming here, so there's clearly something that's drawing me here. So just wanted to get you to tell the viewers what Varanashi Farms is all about.
Thanks for coming. I absolutely love having you guys here, and what you do is incredible. I love it.
Thank you so much.
So the farm, I think it's a historic farm. So we've had this in our family since the 1640s.
Wow.
There's a story behind it, how it came down from the Kur King Krishnavarma to the Chakrakodi family.
So that's more than 300 years.
Yes, it is. And then it got passed down to the generations and generations, but it was, my grandfather was a founder of Camco, cooperative sector for...
oh, it's that chocolate.
Yes.
Camco, right? Yeah, I remember that from my childhood.
Yes. It was built to empower the farmers so that they get good price for their, good price and good market for their produce. It's a farmer society. So from him, the farm got, my father got that farm, so this farm. So he's a PhD in agriculture, a PhD in microbiology, and my mother, she's a PhD in macrobiology. So both they studied the agriculture sciences, and then came and they stumbled upon organic farming in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So ever since they've been putting the concept into this farm, and 3 decades later, we have this incredible piece of land with life diversity, all different kinds of flora and fauna.
So everything that you grow here is completely organic?
Completely organic. This farm hasn't seen any chemical fertilizers or poisonous pesticides in over 3 decades.
Wow.
The cycle of life is just springing over here.
Nice. So the soil must be really fertile then?
It is. So what happens is, when we are, for millions and millions of years, this cycle has been continuing. So the leaves fall off, the barks fall off, and then that's eaten by microorganisms like all these earthworms, the centipedes, millipedes and all. And their poop, it's eaten by microorganisms. And then these nutrients, this organic matter gets down into soil as a nutrient or a humus or organic matter, what we call it. And that's sucked on by the plants again. And then they grow, the photosynthesis happen, they produce food, what we eat, what the animals eat, and that whole cycle continues. But what's happened in the recent years is they started putting chemical fertilizers. So that started after the World War. The people were making bombs, and when the World War stopped, whatever the ingredient which is going for bombs started being used for agriculture.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah, people don't know about it. Exactly. Have you heard of the blast which happened recently in...
No.
The ammonium nitrate, which was stored.
It was
terrible. On WhatsApp and stuff, you've seen that.
Was that fertilizer?
It is. It was stored fertilizer.
Wow.
So that's what we're putting for our plants. That's why we call it, when organic farming we're doing, we call it food not bombs.
Wow, okay.
So when these chemical fertilizers are being put, the natural process, the life cycle that I spoke about gets destroyed because they all die. The microorganisms and the macroorganisms, they can't survive in that chemical environment. It leaches into the ground and they kind of destroy your soil pH or change your soil pH, electrical conductivity is gone. So this natural process of the original molecules being transferred from the soil into the plant and back into the food, and then we eat it, and then animals die and decay, that process is harmed. So that's not happening here. So in here it's all natural.
Nice.
Another concept about the farm here is it's multi-crop.
Okay.
There are more than 8 major crops that we grow in different layers. So we'll stop here. And
what are some of the main crops?
On the top layer you can see we have Arecanut. See the Arecanut on top? Yeah. So that's the top layer. So right next to it is coconut. So right next to you see a coconut right there on your left side. And then coming a little below you have the nutmeg. Nutmeg is a spice.
Okay.
It's a wonderful spice, and that grows here. A little below you have banana. Okay, and you have the pepper vines creeping up over there through the different plants. And then we have the god food. It's world's favorite food. Chocolate is made from it.
Cacao.
Yes.
I did try some of that. I'd never tasted fresh cacao before.
Yeah.
I think day before we had some of that. That was so good.
True.
Can we get some on the way now?
Of course,
Awesome.
of course.
Awesome.
We are putting it out there too. So cacao in Latin is called Theobroma. Theobroma means the god food.
Oh, that's
Literally
where the name
food.
comes
That's
from.
where the name
There's
comes
a Mumbai brownie company called Theobroma.
Yeah. And it's filled with nutrients, antioxidants. It has good amount of protein, calcium, magnesium, and all these things. But unfortunately, while making chocolate, there is a lot of processing involved,
Right.
and all these good bits are taken out from it.
Yes.
Whereas we encourage for athletes, for people who seek fitness, ultimate fitness, we ask them to eat it as raw as possible.
Using cacao,
Cacao.
without processing
True.
too much.
True.
Okay.
Let's see if we can find the cacao pod.
Also, it's pretty cool that whatever we've been eating the last few days that we've been here,
Yeah,
everything is grown here, right?
it is. It is.
Right,
So we
from
call
the
it
rice to all of the vegetables, everything that's on the plates here at the farm is completely grown at the farm. So that's the best part. Super fresh food.
It is. So the concept of food forest
Yeah.
is something that we love. And more than just the commercial crops, there are so many other crops growing here, such as jackfruit. There are different fruit varieties, and
Yeah, we ate some jackfruit palya sabzi as well.
true, they're highly nutritious, and it's gluten-free as well.
Yes.
It's picking up a lot of
Yeah, no, all of
Drive
your
it, you know.
mock meat, and there's so much being made with jackfruit.
Correct.
And to be honest, like, you know, parts like here in this part of the state, and even back from where I am, Chikmagalur side, etc.
True.
We've always made things with jackfruit.
Yeah, it is a
And
traditional.
now it's
thing,
really
you know?
picking up, right?
Yeah. So this, I was talking about cacao. So this is a cacao pod. There are three major varieties. They are Criollo, which is the blue blood, and then there is the Forestro, which is a wild one, and then there is the Trinitario, which is like a hybrid. So
Okay.
this one's a Forestro wild variety. It forms like a pod, so if you break open it, why not we do that? It's ripe.
Where is the cacao originally from?
It's originally from South America.
Okay.
Have you heard of the Mayans, the
Yeah, yeah.
Aztecs and all that? Those guys. There was this king called Montezuma
Okay.
who was loving the cacao drink. They used to make a drink out of it, and he used to drink 2-3 liters of it every day. It
Wow.
seems. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, very nutritious. So I'm just going to pop it open here, and then yeah, so you can see opens up to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Do you want to pick that and put it in your mouth? And
So this
Just
kind
a-
of, it's so interesting because it's kind of like a mix between like a mangosteen and a sitafal and a lychee. And you would imagine cacao to be really bitter, but somehow it has a very nice sweet taste to it.
so when you process it, you get that bitter taste. So
okay.
we kind of let the juice out, and the sugar in it lets it ferment, and we ferment it on a box
Oh, so good.
for 7 days, and then it's sun dried for another 7 days to get that flavor, and that goes into the chocolate factory.
I see.
But yeah, it tastes so well, just like this, right? Yeah, you want to have some more? Yeah, there you go. So yeah, this is cacao. So people keep asking me what's the difference between cacao and cocoa. Cacao is in its raw form, how it should be eaten. Cocoa is chocolate, which is the processed one. Which,
Okay.
has all
So
the
the processed
nutrients.
one is called cocoa,
True,
and
true.
cacao is the natural form.
Yeah.
I thought it was just different ways of pronouncing it. And this is good temperature for cacao to grow.
Yes, it grows best closer to the equator. It's very
okay.
tropical. It needs a lot of water, as you can see. Whenever a plant is rich in nutrients, different types of nutrients, its water requirement is really high
Okay.
most of the time. Hey, do you see these ditches? Do you want to ask why, when we pass a stream, just ask why there are so many streams over here?
Okay. Good.
And what else? We'll talk about this dark matter. Yeah, you can ask why is the soil so dark here?
Okay. How come the soil is so dark everywhere?
Yeah, so that's the humus, right? So all these leaves fall down, and all these different macroorganisms act on it, and then they decay them into the soil. So the soil becomes enriched with the carbon content. We call it the humus. The organic matter mixed with the soil is called the humus, and it is best
it's
for
like a natural manure.
It is.
Okay.
It is. Okay. So when you grow your farm like this with permaculture, you don't need to put too much fertilizers. Even organic fertilizers, we hardly put anything which is a certified input. This is a certified farm since last 25 years. So we got to be careful on what we put into the system.
Right. So when you say certified, when you sell your product, then it's certified organic.
Correct. If people want to buy organic produce and the fresh ones, it comes from farms like these, which is, people can be sure of what they're eating.
So something that I've noticed throughout the farm is that there are these small streams running everywhere.
True.
Where's the water coming from?
From the top side. So this is something that what we learned from generations of farming.
Okay.
This system was already there. This is not something my parents introduced after their masters or their PhD or something.
Right. So this is naturally just
This is natural. I mean, now it's natural, but initially it was made when this farm was initially built. That's when they made these streams.
like channels.
Channels. The idea is to make the water which is coming through the top of the farm touch as much surface area as possible before it goes out of the farm. So there is a mantra for...
that makes sense.
Yeah, the mantra for rainwater harvesting goes like this: make the running water crawl, crawling water to stop, and the stopped water to seep into the ground. So
I love that.
That way you're increasing your underwater
You're
table.
using water efficiently.
Yeah, true.
Nice.
So one more stream.
So I'm guessing you never have a problem with irrigation, like water issues, yeah?
No, so before we did water harvesting structures, we used to have a lot of problems. Like I remember every year my parents talking about, oh, this year we're going to have water issue.
Right.
But ever since the water harvesting started, you can see the change from about 5 years.
Okay.
And after that, it's absolute so much water that we had never had no problem.
So is it something that any farmer could do if they figure out?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely. It's as simple as 1 + 1 is equal to 2. So if you do water harvesting, they will get 100% benefits. So this is breadfruit. It's used in cooking. So 95% of the food that we eat at the farm comes from the farm. Could be rice, it could be the different vegetables, it could be stuff made from jackfruit, breadfruit, banana stem.
All your vegetables.
All the vegetables, yeah. Colocase, we had patrodi the other day. Colocase comes from here. Our salads, all the salads we eat in the night, they're grown here.
All the carrots, sprouts.
All those things. So this is breadfruit. It's great for vegetable for sambars and palyas and all that. You guys, jackfruit is very sacred to us. This is the corner tree in our farm, after which is not ours. That's a conventional farm. This is an organic farm. You can see the difference.
Okay.
But talking about jackfruit, jackfruit has a lot of value over here, and it's considered quite sacred for us because it saved millions of people's lives in here. During the Second World War in the 1940s, Churchill started stocking up food, thinking that
there was that Calcutta famine.
Yes, 2 million people lost their lives because of starvation in Calcutta. But the same thing happened here. Okay. All the food was taken away, but these guys realized they can live off eating jackfruit.
Oh, nice.
So jackfruit has jackfruit, coconut, all these things saved our people's lives. So it's sacred.
So, and these trees look pretty old.
They are. They grow well about 200-300 years. And when they're done with their life, they are excellent for construction. Half of our house is made from jackfruit.
Okay.
So, thing with the jackfruit is each seed gives birth to a different tasting plant. So each fruit has its own pollination where it's not the same seeds. I mean the spores falling in, it's all different, So it's impossible to have a same tasting jackfruit unless you graft it. So that's the beauty of it.
So it picks up from all of these different...
Correct, yeah. So if you have a forest of jackfruit made from even from the same tree, you're having all these different tasting jackfruits.
Oh,
and they in turn give out to different tasting jackfruits when they ripen, fall, and the seeds come out. So
Nice.
yeah, I think it's brilliant.
I've seen a lot of swimmers come here, right? So you have a lot of kids coming here to train, and I've seen that it's not just the swimming coaching that you guys give them, but it's like a more wholesome experience where they're also eating really good organic food.
True.
So how do you think that makes a difference in their lifestyle as well as sport?
So I'm sure you've experienced this, is what we are, what we eat.
100%,
right?
yes.
So what we eat, whether it's protein, and in the form of protein or carbohydrates, they are digested into molecules. And these molecules form the cells that we are, whether it's our muscle cells, or whether it's the skin, whether it's our brain cells. All this comes from the food that we eat.
Yeah.
When you eat organic food, like I said, the original molecules which have been going around in this world for millions of years gets into the food system that we eat in the organic form, and that's what we eat.
Right.
But if you're 95% of the food that we eat right now, or even more than that, comes from a chemically synthesized, chemical farm, where the fertilizers are chemically synthesized. They are either mined or they are synthesized in factories using fossil fuels, and these techniques which involves heavy processing. So when molecules go through this heavy processing, they denature. So molecules are basically two atoms joined together with bonds.
Yeah.
As they are sent through a process, they denature, the shape goes off. When the shape goes off, they are the building blocks of our lives, right? Our cells are made up of these molecules.
Yeah.
If you put out of shape molecule into a cell, the cell is not working at 100%. So your recovery is not happening. Even though your cells are formed, they are not 100% functional. So the functionality drops down and we become weaker.
Wow.
Every single one human should be a superhuman. They should have this incredible strength because it's written in our code, our DNA.
Yeah.
But because the components which are coming to make our body is not of the quality,
Right.
because of they're synthesized. They're all coming from the factory synthesized molecules, whereas the one originally present in the nature. So in organic farming, the original molecules come through to your body, whereas chemical other
So
way
it's
around.
unadulterated,
Yeah.
nutritious food.
True.
I mean, this is interesting because so many times, people say I'm eating healthy, I'm doing all of the right things,
Yeah.
but I'm not recovering well, or I'm not, I'm not feeling the benefits of eating healthy food. But maybe it's just this,
True.
eating processed food, eating
Exactly.
stuff that is grown not in an organic way.
Definitely.
And we don't think about it because the packaging always says healthy food.
True. That's misleading a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of information is misleading. And we have done a lot of have had a lot of experience with athletes wherein I could push these athletes for 7-8 hard sessions before they kind of break down. And
Wow.
even then I give them one session off and they come back and smash the workout again. Whereas in the city, they could go max 3 or maybe fourth heavy set. After that, they need 3 sessions of recovery.
Wow.
See the difference?
Yeah, yeah.
When this happens, in the technical term of coaching, we call it the microcycle, right? So you know about microcycle, where you break, you rebuild, you get stronger.
Right.
So if we drop the microcycle, then the recovery, because of the faster recovery, and you will achieve your targets sooner. It's like
Faster.
taking 1 steps each time. So that's what's happening here. So
Yes.
we'll have a look at the waterfall.
I can hear the waterfall.
Yes, I think it is active. It's a little bit.
This is slippery, careful.
That's a beautiful thing. It's fallen a little early, but this is pepper. Now I've heard this rumor of people saying pepper can increase your mitochondrial density in your cell. I don't think it's
more
true or
energy,
anything.
basically.
Yeah, more energy. Have some more.
Nice. I actually want to know the difference because I grow pepper as well, or rather my dad grows pepper.
Yeah.
But it's essentially it's a coffee farm, but we also grow pepper, but it's not organic. Okay. So I really want to know the difference
in taste.
In taste, in
taste,
nutrition.
Yeah. And this nutrition thing with the organic farm, it's proven. That's why people are ready to pay more premium for the organic thing.
Woo! Yeah. Spicy!
It is, it is.
Oh.
Ooh, Gandhari.
Those are going to be death.
More power today, huh?
Oh wow.
No, that's not actually. It's called the Cacao Waterfall because there's a cacao plant right on the
is that?
edge. Yeah, that's a cacao plant. Guys, this beautiful creature, it's called the tropical pill millipede. When you touch it, it rolls into a ball. Look how beautiful it is. So my mom did her PhD on this.
Oh really?
Yeah, Arthrospira.
I remember this from my childhood. I didn't know that you could do PhD on it.
Yeah, she did, and she published in Current Science, Nature, and also another magazine called El Salvador.
What a beautiful defense mechanism.
It is, no? Yeah. They apparently work even better than earthworms in terms of digesting this food. They eat these and they poop, and they help in the process of digestion, degradation.
Wow.
Millipede, centipede. It's another one. All these guys are present. They eat up these things and then they poop, and whatever the poop they do, that's acted on by the microorganisms. There are nitrogen fixers, potash solubilizers, phosphorus mobilizers, biocontrol agents, all these good microorganisms.
And I guess with like, if it's not organic farming and if you have too many fertilizers, all of them die, right?
They all die. So that process is halted. So the circle of life is halted when you put chemicals into your farm. And only that chemical gets absorbed by the root, they become our food and we eat that. People are not understanding this. Would you want to eat that?
Definitely not.
And I keep telling people about this. The biggest investment that you can do is on your own health, on your own self.
Absolutely.
Right? So this body is something that we carry for a really long time. Yeah, so what's happening here is we have an old borewell which was not yielding water. And since the last 25 years, we have been recharging it. Okay. So when there is a flowing water after rains, we put this the excess water inside the borewell. Okay. We also made a structure around it so that the water stops there for a bit before it moves on. This stopped water sinks into the ground and it enriches the water table. Okay. So this borewell, which only had like a half an inch of water, which is really less for a borewell, went up to having 4 inches of water. So it's plenty of water we have now. Rainwater harvesting, it's beautiful. So this is a patrude. The rice flour is pasted on top of it, and it's folded and then folded on top of underneath banana leaf, and then it's steamed, and then we have this beautiful patrude for our breakfast.
So it kind of gets the flavor from both of these leaves, yeah?
Yes.
From this and from the banana.
And the banana, yeah. The queen of fruits. Have you heard of mangosteen? You were talking about mangosteen.
Yes, I love mangosteen.
This is mangosteen. This is not the season though, but we have about 30-40 trees. Mangosteen trees.
When is the season?
Come summer, April, May, June.
Trainees who come here to learn swimming are doing not just swimming, but you're also making them do so many other things. For example, you got me on board to teach them animal flow.
Love it, yeah.
And then I know you're doing a lot of slackline and so many things actually, you know. Maybe tell us a bit more about that and why you get these guys to develop all of these different skills and not just swimming.
You know, the one thing, in one word if I have to explain, I would say that I would like to improve their physical literacy. So the movement is, obviously the body does it. There is a skeletal structure and then the muscles move around. But that, for the movement, the instructions are given by our brain. So there is the motor cortex which gives the basic movement thing, and then there is your entire part of the brain which kind of reacts to certain things. Okay. Right? So there is reaction for your balance, or somebody says go and then you react and you explode and stuff. Yeah. So all this improves by having a higher physical literacy. But this physical literacy improves by doing multiple sports at a young age. So we do slacklining, skateboarding, animal flow, yoga, acro yoga, a lot of different calisthenic works. We get them to play basketball. We play cocoa as well, and diving, all these different things, parkour. So when kids do this, they're not just doing monotonous work. They're doing different work. When they're doing different work, they always enrich their the capacity for the brain to connect with your body. Okay, so there is the cerebellum, the occipital lobe, and all those different lobes which connects to your motor cortex, talks to them, and then you do these movements. But if you're doing the same thing, say they're just swimming, the connection between these two lobes cuts off, because you go into something called a muscle memory.
Yes.
You heard of muscle memory. And when you're in muscle memory, there's no development happening. You might do the same thing again and again, but we give them a new task, they're clueless. They can't do it. Whereas if you take them through these multi-sports training, we call it polyathletes, new word. The developing polyathletes is a dream that I want to have.
Nice. The term polyathlete is very interesting. So not only are they learning new skills, but you're also, as you said, kind of making sure that they don't plateau in that sense.
True.
And also, as you know, kids, you need to keep it interesting for them. So I guess, you know, involving all of these different activities keeps them engaged, helps them train harder.
True.
Very cool.
Change of work is rest. They love it. So obviously, I think I first saw you doing animal flow, and I was, and then Ashweta as well. Fascinated with it, because it combines all these different aspects of movement, but it's at the same time super original. And you cannot do any animal flow move, without connecting your muscles.
100%.
You have from your toes, tip of your toes, to the tip of your finger and your neck, and everything needs to be activated.
Yes.
So the way I see it is, if you're going to a gym, okay, you're lifting weights, you're just activating that particular muscle. You know, there is this chart where this workout will activate this thing. What's the point activating it individually?
The body doesn't work that way.
Exactly. Body always works hand in hand together. Remember, like we saw that thing as kids. You take one stick, breaks easily. Make it 2, a little bit difficult. Make it 4, impossible. So when you work your muscles together, you're much stronger. So when you train, why not train them together? So that's the reason I love.
Especially for sportsmen, athletes, performance, people who are into performance. I mean, of course, you know, isolation training has its place for people who want to maybe are into bodybuilding, or maybe if they have an injury and they're doing some rehab, you need to isolate certain muscles. But unfortunately, that's become the main part of most people's training. And, you know, just like how you said, just kind of combining and moving the body as one teaches you so much more. And all of these things happen without you even knowing, and you become a better mover. So whether it's improving your mobility, getting stronger, improving your endurance. And the mind-muscle connection, which is so important again. As you said, you know, you could just stand there, lift a dumbbell for like half an hour without even thinking about what you're doing. You could be thinking about food, you could be thinking about your wife, whatever. But when you're doing animal flow, the mind-muscle connection is always there. You cannot disconnect.
Remember the time you were at the farm during, I think, Cycle Block, the climbing event?
This is where it happened,
This is where it happened. They had built the climbing wall over here, and people were climbing in a competition without wearing the harness. So
we've actually made a video about the Cycle Block event as well, so you guys will see it. But that was interesting.
And that time, Mon Brockman and Mel, they put the brain reader. It's the helmet that you wore, and then you did some animal flows. That was interesting. I'd never done something like that. So it was just basically this equipment that they put on my head, where they were reading activities in the brain. And we kind of experimented with me thinking about what I'm going to do, and then the next time just flowing, not really thinking. So then we could see that there was a massive difference in how much the brain is used and how somebody enters into a flow state. So that's another best part about animal flow. It's connected with the flow. May the flow be with you. Really fascinating stuff. So this is a pond. It's a natural pond, which, I mean, kind of natural. There was a quarry here.
Oh, okay.
and we kind of shifted, instead of wasting it by refilling the thing, I used it as an irrigation tank. So this also works as an overhead tank for our farm.
Right.
But at the same time, we use it for swimming, so it's like a multi-purpose. We do not use chlorine here, but we use something called EM, effective microorganisms,
Okay.
which are again Bacillus species bacteria, which is present in our gut, which cleans the water. So it may not look crystal clear, but it's quite.
It's clean.
It's clean. It's clean, and it. If you swim here every day, your skin gets better, your hair gets shinier.
So chlorine is not really the best idea then.
No,
It just makes it look clean.
Yeah.
But it has a lot of other things which will affect your skin
long-term
and hair.
issues. Yeah.
Okay.
And these are the slack lines. There are 2 slack lines in this. We call it the water line.
Yeah.
The best thing about water line is if you fall into the water. Nothing happens. So you can really experiment yourself, push yourself.
Nice.
It's also where I did my ACL.
I know the last time I tried getting on these and it was super hard, but I think I'm going to do it this time.
Yeah.
There's a high line, right, in the other part?
Yeah, it's a midline.
So I'm going to get on that.
Yeah.
It's a midline, okay.
Midline, yeah.
I don't know about standing on top. I can stand on top of a slack line, but on a midline, maybe even if I just mount it and sit on it, I'm going to be happy.
That's how you start, and you love it. So I have a plan of expanding this to 50 meters and hosting events.
Oh, okay, you're going to expand this.
Yeah, so the problem with a lot of these big competitions is it has a huge environmental impact. The carbon footprints are really high.
I'm guessing that's always a challenge for you to get that balance.
It is. So like if we can do like a camping festival where we don't use much resources, but also there's the same amount of fun, and then have an event, then we have low footprint events. I think I'm really keen on doing things. Yeah, so this is diving. So diving is also a flow art. We have 5-meter board and then 7.5 meter board over here.
Doesn't look as scary as the last time.
Not as scary?
As the last time.
Yeah, so one of the action and adventure sports that we love is cliff diving.
Yeah.
Obviously jumping from the height.
I've seen you do some crazy stuff. Not just jumping, but doing like backflips off like heights like these.
Love it, absolutely love it. The fear, obviously. I mean, no matter how many times I've jumped from here, even when I'm standing at the edge, looking down, I have that heartbeat going up and down.
So you still feel it?
There is still a little bit. Okay. But the whole idea of flow, people say that the biggest blocking factor for a flow is fear. So fear blocks the flow.
Right.
Our flow lies beyond fear. I think cliff diving is one of the best way to conquer it. Anything and everything is training and adapting.
Yeah.
You do more and more and you get better and better.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I put this diving block here. So that we can keep.
I think I can relate to what you're saying, because the last time, the last few times I was I didn't do the jump from the higher one. Yeah. I jumped from the lower one. I was too scared to do this, but the last time I was I did it. And now that I'm standing here, it's not that scary. So I guess it's some way I'm conquering that.
True.
Because the thing is, when you land there, logically you're not going to get hurt. It's safe.
True.
But something is in the back of your head is, I don't know, the survival mechanism or whatever is kicking in, and the instinct is telling you don't do it.
True.
I guess you got to override that at that point.
Exactly.
Not think for maybe a few seconds and just jump.
Exactly.
And trust your technique, because, I mean, at least if you're, especially for guys like us who've done this before or have the necessary capability to not hurt themselves, then what is it that's actually stopping you?
Exactly.
It's just your mind.
Yeah, it is your fear. It is your fear. And fear blocks your technique, fear blocks your flow. Fear can put you in risk. So when you don't have that fear, your clarity is more, the control over your body is a lot higher. And there is one more thing that these action and adventure sports people talk about is higher the consequences, greater the results. If you don't have the fear blocking you, you can do incredible things. That's when the perfect balance of dopamine and serotonin in your brain come together, releasing that superpower, which you don't have otherwise.
Right. So where everything comes to a standstill and you're just focusing on the task.
Yes.
And all of the other unwanted thoughts are just
goes off, and suddenly it's like you have so much more time. You're in, as if you're in a slow motion.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Boom.
So this is the tree house.
Yes, I stayed here.
Yeah,
I'm exciting.
Philip Kringspees and his friends of the Treehouse Community. You should check them out, thetreehousecommunity.com,
Yeah.
the website.
Where are they from?
They're originally from Germany and from different parts of the world, but they live in Oroville for...
Oh, Oroville, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, from
Cool.
Oroville.
So they built this?
They built this, and if you can see, it's about 50 feet from the ground.
Yeah.
And they haven't dug a single hole through the plant. They just placed the entire tree house on the plant like that.
Oh, wow.
On the tree.
So no nails, no like...
Nothing.
Okay.
Not a single cut to the
And
tree.
it's so super sturdy.
It is, yeah.
How long ago was it built?
This was in 2015.
Nice.
Yeah, they took just 20 days to build this.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And very clever engineering. So the heavy door over there, wooden door, is so easily opened because the counterweight on the right side. See the string hanging down? So that carries the counterweight.
Ah.
And then you can open with single hand or even single finger.
Otherwise, it's a pretty heavy door.
Counterweight. Clever.
I love this design. It's a cute little tree house. Enough space to house 3-4 people. In the midst of nature.
I'll open this.
It's got a little bar counter.
And also a window.
Nice. So how big is the whole farm, the property?
From border to border, it's about closing to 50 acres.
Okay.
But that also involves a bana. It's a sacred grove of forest, which is maintained for the entire village by our family. And all the farm itself is about 27 acres, the cultivated land.
Okay. Oh, so pretty much half is not, you've just left it uncultivated.
Yeah. Okay. So the idea of forest works the best in permaculture. Because these forests, see, a lot of the problems while you do agriculture is the pests, right? So there is different insects, there are different microorganisms which attack, pathogens attack. If there is a forest, it's like a buffer zone. It takes out all the beatings, letting the farm grow by itself. And also the intensity is spread out. But if you just do farming all over the place, cutting down the forest, the ecology is lost, the diversity is lost. The benefits that you're going to get from this diversity is gone off. So then it becomes sustainable. Instead of plants living for 40, 50 years like we are. So all these Arecanut trees, they're 40 years plus and they're still yielding great. Because the new package of practices in chemical farming doesn't even last 20 years.
And I know one of the reasons why farmers don't get into organic farming is because there is this belief that they cannot make enough money or they're not getting enough yield.
True.
So how would you counter that, or
that's an absolute bullcrap. There are a lot of information out there which is not right. Same thing. Okay, so if some university is funded by a company, they push out wrong information.
So basically,
pretty much the same.
Could be a fertilizer lobby and
true. And a lot of the times, what happens is in an organic farming, people just say that, hey, you know what? I've put farmyard manure, or I put like goat manure or something, so I'm good. But there is a difference between that being an organic farming and a super scientific way. So what we do is a very scientific way to do it. We get the best of everything. So if you go with the scientific method, the yield is way more than what you get in chemical farming. Sustainability is more. The amount of money you spend on pest control is less. The quality of food, which is more important, which people are not thinking about. Quality of food is 10-folds more, or even, not even 10, maybe 100-folds more, because it comes from a natural source. The yield is great.
So then it's just a question of educating people, I guess. Exactly. And I'm sure it's not something that can be immediately implemented. So maybe that's the challenge.
True.
If somebody needs to go from a regular farming to organic farming, I'm sure there's a step-by-step process, and it'll take some time for
It is.
that to be
It is.
implemented.
I would give 5 years for a farm which is fully chemical right now, and which is
That's actually not a long time.
It is not.
Yeah.
Considering our lifetime, it is not. And if you ask for today, 5 years down the line from today, you'll get it. But if you don't ask until tomorrow, you'll have to wait so much longer.
Right.
And that has turned down to the space where we are right now. Over 99% of the food that we eat comes from inorganic sources.
Right.
Conventional farming. Yeah, so the guy who built this, he's a tree whisperer and brilliant guy. He has flow embedded in him. Philip had a dream of building 500 tree houses. And when he had that, incidentally, I had approached him.
About 5 years back?
This is about 5 years back. Okay. And at the same time, we had approached him to build a tree house. So this is apparently the first one. So that's why the number 1 over there.
Ah, okay.
Devadaru 1.
Nice.
So he's already built about 125 now.
Wow.
And
in 5 years?
In 5 years. And he's going to go around the world building tree houses. And the 500th one, he wants to be back at the farm so that there's one full circle happening. So we're looking forward for that. Might take 10, 15 years. But
and how long did it take to build this?
20 days. They smashed it in 20 days. There were these 4 people, 4 young guys who are so strong.
20 days is insane. And you said that they haven't drilled anything into the trees.
No, it's just been placed there.
And it's super secure.
It is. And I see the tree growing more happily and better than even before. I think it's love. Like plants feel that love, and more people stay in the farm. They're like appreciating, oh, this is such a beautiful tree house, this is such a beautiful tree. It's taking it in, you know.
Like, people underestimate the power of energy, and
definitely it's out there.
Oh, this one's really blue.
It is, no? It's a clear pond.
Wow, I can actually see the bottom.
Yeah. It gets even clear, like if the rain stops for a few more days and it clears out.
How come this one's a lot more clear than the other ponds?
So there is a reservoir right above us, and this water is sedimented water coming out from that bigger pond. And so it's already cleared out. It's like a natural filtration.
Wow.
And then there is an overflow we see over here. So the whatever dirt is there comes on top, and then it flows out, leaving the crystal clear waters behind. We call this the turtle pond. It's kind of historic pond. I think it was.
Are there turtles?
They used to be, but during rainy season they climb up and crawl to the top pond. So that's how they do it.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So this is the dorm. When we travel, we stay in a lot of hostels and stuff. That's where the interaction between the people happens the most, right? So that's the idea. We use most of the material from this farm. Like for example, this laterite stone comes from the farm. Okay. The wood that we used outside, like the fallen trees and stuff. Recycled tiles on top, and also recycled tiles at the bottom, the terracotta ones. Yeah. Stays cool. So we have our swimmers coming in here. We have travelers coming and staying here. Okay. Learning about farming, learning about organic farming, and also adventure sports and stuff.
Nice. So let the viewers know how do they go about, like if they want to come and stay here maybe for a couple of days and experience what an organic farm looks like and do some of these adventure sports that you have. Yeah. How do they do it?
We are not out there in a commercial space, but if you go to our website, varanashi.com, www.varanashi, it's VARANASHI, not SI.com. There is the information about how to reach us.
And you're also on Instagram.
We are also on Instagram, so if you text on Instagram or give us a call, we can kind of accommodate people inside. Yeah.
So there are 2 tree houses.
There are, so that we
people can stay there.
Yes. Nice. And we do camps, sports fitness camps, adventure camps, nature camps, and also swim camps. Yeah. And hoping to do animal flow camps someday.
100%.
It's not a park. It's just it's called a half pipe. The 100 Rams guys built it. Darius, Abhishek, Purna, and a bunch of other skateboarders.
Built it yourselves?
They came and they did it over 2 to 3 days. They were done with it. Lot of skaters come. The young guys learn how to skate in here. I think over 150 people have already tried and learned how to skate here.
That's the one thing that I haven't done in the farm, skating.
Yeah, it's another flow thing. You have to completely let go of your fear and then launch yourself.
Nice.
Shot. I'm just wondering, as an experiment, without teaching him anything, he might come up with new forms no? By doing this every day, falling, learning. Keke, super. Shaka malpule, shaka. Shaka. So this is a cafeteria we have where people come and eat. The kitchen's right at the back. Like I said, all the ingredients that goes to the food here, most of it comes from the farm. And Sharade is a lovely lady from here. She cooks food for us.
It's so simple, the food, but it's so tasty and nutritious.
It is nutritious, yeah, that's the thing. And we stick to the local thing. What is required for this place, we grow that. And yes, of course, there is sprouts and beans additionally for athletes. Dev, I'd like you to meet Nirup, Lokesh, and Rohit. They are the champions in aquatic education.
Nice.
And also they're fantastic at life-saving sports. Been to international events. So, Nirup is a bronze medallion surf lifesaver from Australia.
Nice.
Lokesh is an swim. They're all swim certified, and Rohit has been Team India's manager for the 2018 World Championship.
Nice.
And also
you were saying that life saving is something that's not so common in India.
It is not common.
Trying to bring that culture.
We have to. You see, every year there are more and more cyclones. There are more and more flood is happening. What's the point of learning how to swim if you cannot save lives?
Yeah.
Right. So we're trying to establish Surf Life Saving India. Which is like an organization. It's a voluntary-based organization, which teaches people not only how to swim from the youth, from the age of say 8, and brings them all to the beach or a river or something, and gets them to deal with the natural situations from the flood or cyclone or rip current or any of these. And as they are taught systematically, safely, they grow up to become these champions who can go into any natural disaster and then rescue people out. So Surf Life Saving India.
I think we need it because, Indians are not really the best swimmers. True. If you think about it, most Indians don't know how to swim, and especially when we travel abroad, everybody knows how to swim, and then you're seeing Indians. So it's good to see a bunch of you guys changing that.
Please support and share the cause and join, become a member of this Life Saving thing.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Yes. So you have all of these different events that you host in the farm. So I've been to the Jataka Flow Fest, the Cycle Block event that happened, and then I missed the Bloom and Green, and you also had another organic
farmers meeting.
Farmers meet. So, of course, the organic farmers meet is more about farming, but all of these the other three that we mentioned are more about movement, more about exploring mind and body a lot more.
True.
And doing it, of course, in a place like this, I think makes all of the difference. So just wanted to know, what is the intention behind having these events and kind of bringing all these people in here and having these experiences?
We travel a lot, right? Like you've traveled quite a bit to all different places, and we see these amazing events happening where people with skills gather together and they share the knowledge with others. And that's the whole idea. So ever since attending all these different places, I think it started in Adelaide when I was in Australia in 2006 to 12. There's this festival called WOMAD, World of Music and Dance. And along with that, there was this fringe festival which is go along for a month, where people with the skills like this, they'll come together, the flow people, the professional sports people, the music, art and dance and stuff, and permaculture, basically the whole sustainability thing. So to spread the awareness of sustainability and also bring people close to the flow, we want to have these events, and I think one way or the other all these events are doing what that we had hoped for.
I remember the Jataka Flow Fest. It was nice to see. You can see is that the midline there?
That's the midline. We call it the consortium of molecules.
So I remember there were slackline artists who came and they were doing cool stuff here, and I tried my hand at it and I sucked at it. Hopefully I'm going to be a little better tomorrow.
Definitely.
And then there were parkour guys, there were poi artists. I was doing animal flow. The very cool things, even some arts and crafts, and I remember making some mud balls. So it was really nice because there was so much of, as you said, like skill sharing.
True.
There's so much to learn from somebody else, and as much as you think you know things, there's always so much more to learn.
Definitely.
And this is such a beautiful place to kind of bring that creativity.
Yeah, I mean, look, I really feel gifted to have this place come down for my parents, for my grandparents, and I love the idea of sharing.
Yeah.
And I think this place deserves a lot more than what just, one family can experience.
No, I mean, it's something that I think is really commendable because, people have farms like this. It's not that people don't have land. People have ancestral land and they have maybe even 10 times bigger land than this, but it all depends on what you do with it.
Exactly.
And I think what you've done with it is really cool, not just in terms of the organic farming and making sure that, you're not thinking only about yourself, and I think that's something that really needs to change in the way humans think and behave, where you don't think just about humans or just your family or just yourself, but you're also thinking about all of the other living organisms around you, and that's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah.
And you're also exploring all of the things that a human body and mind can do, coming from the fact that you're a swimming coach, so you understand what performance is, you understand what training athletes is.
True.
So I think that's a great combination that you've got here.
True. It's always one thing for sure, that when you give more, you get back more. That is something I really believe in and experienced it. The more you share, more you get.
That's beautiful.
That's the cycle.
Yes. Is that what I think it is? Is that a zip line?
Yeah, it is a small version of it. We call it the flying fox. So there is no harness or anything. So you just hang in there and then drop down into the water. So.
And it looks like this is like made by you. You haven't got. It's not like bought or professionally done or whatever. I think you've figured out how to do this.
Yeah. And
I've seen so many videos of you guys doing all of these things, and it's super safe.
Yeah.
So I know I can trust you, and I know I can try.
We keep this thing. And there's a tree swing, which is going on top as well.
The rope there, the Tarzan swing. Nice.
All these things makes you have a better body awareness.
And just, so many times you want to try all of these things, but there could be different things that are stopping you. One that we already spoke about, which is fear of heights.
Yes.
There's also the fear of water.
Exactly.
I know for you it doesn't factor. For your swimmers, it's second nature to be in water. But I know for me as well, before I learned how to swim, it was always because I like to do all of these cool things, but I knew I was not super confident just being in deep water.
True.
And now that I've got a little comfortable with water, I'm exploring other things. So it's nice how it all comes together.
70% of our world is water, and with the climate change happening, it might be 81% very soon. So if you know how to swim, that's a whole new environment for you to explore, like you just said.
Yeah, for learning different skills.
True.
If I had probably restricted myself to doing just one thing back in the day, then maybe even picking up newer things now would have been much harder.
Yes.
But maybe because I was exposed to all of these environments and I tried my hand at different things, and that still hasn't stopped, and I'm now 31 years old, and I'm still learning, and I don't think that's going to stop, and I'm sure it's the same for you.
True.
You just see how the body just allows you to pick up all of these new things, and then everything is connected, and the more you learn, the more you get better at other things.
Yes, physical literacy. So the tree you see at the back is Banapu and Andipunaru. These are local hardwoods, been here since centuries and millennia probably. So they might be around 200 years old, so they're all really time travelers. And our house is made from jackfruit, Banapu and Andipunaru. It's really strong. It's 70 years old house. It's still strong. It might even have another 100 years of life if we maintain it well. So this is the local forest that we have, and the rainwater harvesting structure.
Every time that I've been to the farm, I've seen that there are usually a lot of people just helping out.
Yes.
And from all over the world, like I've met Germans, I've met Americans, I've met so many interesting people here, and even so many people from the country itself, and they're all helping out with the farming and everything. So are these guys volunteers?
Yeah, we call them woofers. That stands for willing worker on an organic farm.
Okay.
It's been around these concepts. Okay. So the idea is to basically spread the awareness. So we have one of the last remaining knowledge of our ancient agriculture, which is 5,000 years old. The Sanatana Dharma from India has its different practices. It's not really a religion, it's a way of life.
Right.
So the agriculture is also a way of life. We still use Panchanga, the Indian calendar, for agriculture. And there's all these practices where much more advanced. Now what has happened in this farm is the infusion between that old form with the modern form. So my mother, she's a scientist, at the same time she also knows all these practices. She's merged together. So this should, the awareness should spread out.
Bringing the best between the East and the West.
True.
Yeah.
And hence we started the volunteering program. We connected with FSL India, Workaway, and then our Instagram page as well. So this brings up to 20 to 25 volunteers every month, which changes. Some stay for as long as a year, the one coming from abroad. And we're also connecting with different universities. So they learn this new thing. It's completely new for them. I mean, they've seen permaculture, but we are a lot more than permaculture. So we're mixing that permaculture with the olden tradition we have and the modern science of microbiology, mixing all together. So they come, they stay here, they work every day for 6 hours. It's hard work. It's a farm work, but
it's fun.
It is fun.
I would love to.
Yeah, it's a big transformation. You know, you stay close to the nature. You get a lot of good karma. You will rack up your negative carbon footprint things. So, and then you get fit. Obviously, you get to use the facilities here in terms of adventure sports and all that. Learn new things, meet new people, community building. I would love to have you also.
Nice.
Be crazy.
Yeah. So if anyone's interested in volunteering at the Varanashi Farms, you know whom to contact. But I think it's such because I've seen everybody who's been here who's volunteered and they're so happy. Right. As you said, it's learning. They're learning so much, and I don't think this kind of education you will get in a college or anywhere else. So you're literally learning on the job, and as you said, there's so much more than just also learning farming, but also they're getting to experience all of these other things that you have in the farm. And learning from some of the best swimmers. So
that too.
Lots of perks.
We're also learning from people who come here. They're the only people with the traveling mentality come here, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Like somebody who wants to come here and spend time is already a little different.
Exactly.
The way they think. Exactly. They're not the usual kind of people who go in the set path. So I'm sure you also would have met so many interesting people and learned so much.
Yeah, so many incredible people. So this is a different variety of cacao. It's called Trinitario. It's a mix between the wild Forestro variety and the pure blood Criollo. So you can see it's narrow and sharp. And also it has ridges around it.
This has become part of the tree now.
It is connected. So this is a raw, like it's not ripe yet, whereas that is ready for harvesting. The yellow one. The green one is the young raw ones.
I like that name.
Garden of Unearthly Delights. I think I'm going to cut the un and make it Earthly Delights, because it is earthly.
It is earthly.